Ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru, and hello.
And today, some more Steel Division is coming your way. It's a 1v1 on Bois de l'Amour. And who do we have today there, Rang?
Well, on the left-hand side, in blue, we have your Jabroni as the 2nd Infantry Division, your Jabronis. And on the right-hand side, in the red, playing as the 21st Panzer, we have Stevbosky. And, yeah, that's who we have.
Indeed. So, Bois de l'Amour. So, usually we look at this map from the opposite direction here, but right now we see all these forests down here. How does that kind of... what does that mean for this particular matchup?
Well, the 2nd Infantry are probably going to have a pretty good time at that forest with Ranger, Soats, and just their infantry in general. They're going to have a much better time in that CQC area compared to the 21st Panzer. Yeah, it doesn't completely negate them because the 21st can get a lot of autocannon units to help in CQC fighting, but really for the 21st it's probably a bit better to try and attack up north and try to get a bit of a foothold before the 2nd Infantry can get a nice defensive position with 80 guns up the bot, because just looking at this northern and middle side, there's quite a few locations to hide a sneaky 80 gun.
Sounds like a good read so far. It definitely seems like Stevbosky is going to be doing that. He's got a number of troops up top. Now, we were looking at the decks before we started recording here, and you mentioned that with the 21st Panzer, they get very heavy tanks later on in the game, like the Königstiger, but you're not a big fan of that. Why is that?
Well, my main problem with the 21st Panzer, and I think Stevbosky may encounter this in his match, is you have King Tigers. King Tigers are nice, but it's nicer to really have a Panther or a regular Tiger, especially in a 1v1, because just keeping that King Tiger alive is a real pain, because you're just so worried about it being flanked and it's so expensive to buy. Where with other German divisions, you can at least get like a Tiger or Panther in B phase, which gives you a bit more extra firepower now instead of having to rate all the way to a C. But Stevbosky does get the Brumbar, which is still well armoured and can pack a punch, especially against infantry. The Panzer IVs are good, and he just got a nice amount of autocannon units, so if he takes advantage of that, he can have a good time. And honestly, against 2nd Infantry, I don't exactly think you need a King Tiger. It's nothing exactly heavy to fight.
And I'm happy you brought that up, though, too. I mean, the 2nd Infantry, we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of early veterancy kind of material here, especially along the ground. But yet, you didn't seem too concerned about that from the German side. Would you say that the A-phase infantry game is going to go to the US or to the Germans?
Definitely to the US, but if the Germans can use their autocannon vehicles effectively, the tables will definitely turn. But I'd give the later game infantry just to the Germans, as they have a lot of pioneers and Panzer Grenadiers in their deck in the B phase, as we looked at earlier. So, I know, compared to rifles, which are a bit more cannon bodies, there's very much an A phase heavy deck, I'd say, for the 2nd Infantry player.
Well, it's kind of funny that you said that for the 2nd Infantry player, because I think I would have said the same thing almost for the Germans, that the Germans kind of shoot their wad out really before the game gets too far into its later stages. But we are starting off here, so it's a 335 and 338, and we actually are seeing a very interesting breakout, I would say. Do you want to make a comment on this?
Well, no one's going to the middle, which is usually just a 1v1 troop, because you're just scared about getting flanked from both sides. Germans sending a little bit down south, while Americans sending pretty much everything down south too. But also up north, we're going to have that fighting that little bumpy road there. It's going to get a little bit hectic, and I believe, is that a sound air from the Americans? Yep, that's a 57 mil, and just some infantry. In this northern assault, knocking out like 57mm cannon is going to be vitally important, because once those Germans go across that kind of across the bend in that road, they're going to get lit up by an AT gun, and that's really going to make or break it.
Indeed, it does seem like it's going to be Christmas in the forests up there, but I suppose what I do want to check on out is that, do you think the Germans can take any sort of local kind of counterattacks to use the terrain to their advantage? Especially in the northern sector. In the northern side, yes.
If they lose it, it's not too bad. You've got a nice little open ground between you and the enemy, but I know this attack isn't going to look too well. The Marauders are there, the 6-pounders there. Oh, there we go, the Recon jumping out, so going to be forcing Marauders back.
Oh, here comes the first kill right there.
Oh!
That was quick.
I thought, damn, 1-2 punch here.
Oh,
We still have
jeez.
like 3 autocannon vehicles rolling in behind.
Well, transmission damaged on 1. I think they might be able to get the suppression in time, and they do. Okay.
Yeah, ooh, very.
But the Ranger Marauders are right here next to Aufklärer, and it's kind of a wet noodle contest. What do you think?
The Marauders win. They more veteran sheet. Well, not more veteran sheet at the moment, but they have it's 3 SMGs and 2 with the autocannon half tractor do go down. And damn, this is really going to be a good breakthrough. We've got the Panzer Grenadiers coming in, securing the rear. They're going to help clear out the infantry. And it may not seem like a lot of ground to take early on, but capping into northern area really opened up the rest of the map.
Help me out, though. What blew up in the middle of that road? Was that another one of the 222 kind of vehicles? Was that a 250?
I believe that's the 223, so the command vehicle version.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I was looking at that and I could not figure out. I was like, okay, I saw something explode, but I didn't really think anything that could have encouraged that explosion, so I was a little surprised there, perhaps. But first reinforcements... Please, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the Ranger leaders or the sports managed to get a grenade off.
Okay, that's a pretty decent call
vehicle.
right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first reinforcements are coming in. The American sector is somewhat lagging badly, but it looks like the 6-pounder might be the make or break the 57 mil here.
Mm-hmm.
And wait, what? Did I just see that come in? Is that an M4 DD coming?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Right off the beaches
jeez.
of Normandy and into Bois de la Mars. We got a proper tank, and that's gonna be a pain in the butt. There is the pack gun, the mobile.
The 307. That's exactly what I was going to make a comment about myself. I was like, I don't know. I'm not as nervous, perhaps, as you might be.
Yeah, I mean, if he sets up down the road perfectly, which may be a little bit tough, he could get a kill, but I know at this range, especially in this area, it's going to be a 1,000-meter engagement distance at most, so the Sherman can shoot back. So it comes down to who can blow up the other guy first. I'm glad I said up in that sentence.
But I do want to say that actually, while we are seeing a lot of action up north, the south doesn't seem to be too peaceful either. We have these mortars lofting a couple of rounds over here. This is the 60 mil, by the way, not the 80s. Mm-hmm. While light vehicles are dying in droves up north, the Americans are actually sliding toward the center part of the map, which is actually really surprising to me.
Yeah, there's nothing here from the Germans, and it's really painful. They are still in the lead by +1, but if they manage to secure a center a little bit better, they probably could have been getting a +2 by now, Mr. Stevbosky.
Well, that's the thing, too, is that we're seeing actually a lot of seesawing back and forth already. I mean, Jabroni seemed to have like a 3 or 4% lead, and now it's going right back to Stevbosky here. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it just switches back again in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, and we got one autocannon half track just making a cross-country run behind the line to maybe get spotted by a 6-pounder.
Or the Ranger Marauder is coming pretty close already, so I'm wondering whether or not this 250 can see him just yet. Let's click on over his vision. No, he doesn't even know any of that stuff is there. Oh God.
Yeah,
he doesn't know any of that is there.
Yeah, he's too close. He didn't abide by the 200-meter rule.
I must have missed that day in class, but it definitely seems fair aligning, and yep, there we go.
Boom. Bada bing bang.
But actually up in the north as well, the Germans continue to kind of get caught under rather vicious assault. Half-tracks going down in droves. The 307 is the last guy that's really even alive right now.
Yeah. And he's not exactly in the best position. At the same time, he needs to let the Sherman run into his fire, because that first shot is going to be vitally important in this matchup.
True. Now, I'm amused by the fact that right now we have this 250 that's behind enemy lines, and well, he was rather brave for a couple of seconds here. He could have gone after those rifles, but no. No, he's just going to hunker down and just not move, it looks like. Yeah,
he's in a... I'm looking at his line of sight. He's pretty much in a little ambush position along the crossroad. Or never mind, he's going to be moving once again. Is that 57 mil?
Yeah, I was going to wonder that myself. I did the 57 mil's going to get a nice little shot out. Nope, never mind. Yep, maybe nope. Never mind.
It keeps stuck in between tree cover, yeah.
Of one tree saving lives, man.
I know, right?
But alright,
so I don't know.
Go please. I'm sorry, we're talking over each other. Man, it's been a long week already, it seems like.
It's been a long week for me too, yeah. But never mind, he does manage to get popped.
Now we're going to have a 35S, it looks like, finally coming on in. Now, when the game started, it looked like Stevbosky was going to flirt with bringing that bad boy on in. Looked like he thought better of it, but now he's calling it back with the Northern Front. And this 307 just seems to continue to have issues finding any sort of target whatsoever. I don't know whether or not that's just him trying to stay competitive somehow, or if he just doesn't know where to put it. But it seems like he's having a lot of issues here.
Yeah, I mean, the Sherman and the T-30, which is now in the front, are in good positions because they have the buildings and little tree cover to protect them, and just enough line of sight to shoot up the Panzer Grenadiers, which is really the vital part. But yeah, 370, it's a closer range engagement. Yeah, it's kind of a hard pick to put it. I'd put it all the way back and just try to cover down the road, essentially. That'd be my go-to strat.
Fair enough. Now, one thing we haven't talked about yet, and maybe won't play a lot of real effect in this particular game, is the Air Force of this. If we're looking at both sides, we are going to see a couple of 47s and 38s over for the Americans, and never mind, let's get back to the action. Wow, surrender.
There's no Gabby, oh wow, that is an interesting take. It's
No,
very light.
no Jabroni, and that's probably a good thing, considering that we have basically Mittelwagons over here for the Germans. So, I mean, that's an awful lot of flak that can get put up there. I mean, geez, the SDKFZs. The German Zisk, not even Ziskons, oh my gosh, ZSU, that's what I'm thinking of.
You mean the Roborwind thing?
Oh, yeah, kind of a Verbovin, but kind of like a poor man's version of it, you know?
Oh, the Flakvögelen.
Oh, sort of, yeah. And after a fashion.
It's out on the truck, I know what you're talking about.
But, wow, actually,
Surrender.
troops all over the line. I'm actually really kind of stunned by this. Rifles going down just where the P-Grants that suffered beforehand. And I think that Stevbosky is eager to try to force the issue here. He's trying to get super close to that 307. That's going to be causing him some issues, but at least he takes up the 57mm.
That's a good kill. Yeah, it's very, the Americans, I think, taking the middle is really going to help them a lot, because that's a lovely defensive position where you can set up AT guns everywhere. And you see that 6-pounder in the mid? If he moves up a little bit north, he can shoot stuff that comes along that northern road. And that pretty much knocks off resupply.
Yeah, but that's another 300 or 400 meters pretty easily, I would think.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's true, actually, now I'm thinking about it.
And yeah, the Germans, or Stevbosky, has really focused on this northern side. He managed to get a good push through, but he can't take advantage of it at the moment. And now with the mortars and the Shermans and all this other stuff, it seems like, yeah, and there goes the 35S. Doesn't seem like he can really do too much else up north.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to think about, what kind of local counterattacks he might be able to do here. You're saying about moving that 57mm up, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to be happening here. I think the Germans really kind of missed an opportunity, either working through or around either side of that tree line or the 57mm is.
Yeah, they really just try to focus through that chokehold, or that choke point, I should say, instead of maybe moving a few infantry units down south just to screen the area a bit. Because the Americans have a lovely piece of ground now, +1 point advantage, and it's going to be soon till they ruin the forest, to be entirely honest. I didn't mean that to rhyme, by the way. But,
oh, you're a lyrical master.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the forest I really do give to the Americans.
Whoa, DD-10 goes down. Was that from a Faust?
Oh.
Yep, that was a Faust.
Wow, that was a bit cocky, yeah?
Yeah.
And the T-30's down up north too.
Yes, that was courtesy of the 307, I believe. But we are to Phase B right now, so the Americans could be bringing in some lovely, lovely Shermans too.
Yeah, some more of those command Shermans and then 4 DDs. But if you had death of the Sherman up north, that was really the major threat, yeah, for the Germans. I mean, there's the bloody AT gun and the mortars are really pounding away now. So maybe they can do a breakthrough if they were to get like a proper tank like a Panzer IV up. But no, they're getting a mortar run instead.
You know, right now the map very, very briefly looked like Mr. Game & Watch to me. Silhouette from the side maybe. But no, we are into Phase B, so what do we have to expect from this? I mean, obviously we can talk about the decks a little bit, but overall, what would be your first expectation out of Phase B here?
I think it's going to give the Germans a little bit more breathing room as they can start getting some Panzer IVs out, natural airplanes, artillery, etc. And if they, yeah, it does have Brumber too, which would be a real good pick against 2nd Infantry. It's just a heavy assault gun on reels essentially. For the Americans, a little bit more infantry, but really all the good infantry is an A, and probably artillery because they do have those 2 xylophones on B phase, and those xylophones do make rather crazy sounds, especially when you're getting shot by one.
I have a fever, and the only prescription is more xylophone. Oh no, it does look like the Americans getting cleaned up in the south. Good gosh, in fact, their entire southern flank is folded.
Wow, I was completely wrong in my prediction. That's I'm thinking it's all the light vehicles here from the Germans. They're just fighting in these more open areas, forcing the Americans to come to them, and then right out the autocannon and half-tracks rip apart the rifles. And the Panzer Grenadiers too, with that crazy amount of machine guns.
Well, it wasn't so much that, I don't think, but I feel at the same time that maybe Jabroni is not respecting the usage of command squads. I mean, he's got one right now. He's got a Ranger leader back with that stovepipe to the south. But he just lost 2 squads to surrender. He's finally bringing another leader squad on in. But I can't...
Yeah.
This can't be all he's got down here. This seems like a very foolish idea.
Yeah, he has some more rifle leaders being brought up now, which would be good, but also his Ranger Assaults. He has 3 Ranger Assaults in his deck, and he only has 1 left alive right now. And those are really the deciding force in that forest, because we sell flamethrower, essentially. But it seems like he lost them, not using their flamethrower, which is kind of a shame.
Well, that's what I was saying too. I mean, he had him just down to like the southern tip of the map where that P grunt is. There were a couple surrenders that happened right there. I think actually with both Ranger Assault squads. So yeah, just really mishandling this.
But yeah, now looking at the map, the tables have really turned the Germans. It's starting to get a bit more of a presence in this middle area now after clearing out the forces. They're still holding on to that town up north. I don't think they're going to be able to push out of that because it's look at the American defensive line. But maybe now, somewhere in the middle of this little lightly armored force, the 21st Panzer could potentially do something.
Actually, you know what I love? Check out the spot of that 57 mil to the north. And let's forget the fact that we have actually a couple of death and destruction tanks moving on in now. You're saying about how move that 57mm up before to really lock down a lot of this field. He doesn't have a great field of fire, but what he can see is brilliant, I would say.
Yeah, you can at least see the road, which is going to be the major, the major resupply point for that northern sector. But now with more PT Grens and that mortar run being brought up, it's out of high explosive ammo. Seems like trying to make it more of a push happen. It's just a lot of PT Grens all over.
Now, we are bang on even in terms of territory, but I have to say, I mean, obviously, personally here, I don't think the Germans are going to push on through, given the kind of current tactics they're utilizing.
I know. I mean, they're actually making some good ground in the middle. There's not much if, whereas it's a Sherman DD,
Yeah, that's exactly why I was thinking that.
I mean, they're bringing up a lot of their Pioneers and Panzer Grenadiers now. The problem with the 21st Panzer comes down to they kind of lack the Panzers a bit. I mean, you can get some Panzer IVs, which would be good, but they're not, they're not amazing. They can't get the Tigers or Panthers. It's really turned the tide for a lot of these German tank decks. And honestly, a Panzer IV right now in the middle, or some armor, would definitely help his assault quite a bit, because he can't just rely on using these light vehicles forever.
Well, he has just dropped 2 250s. Actually, kind of interesting. He's got 4 Botha Shermans as an opportunity to bring on in, but no, he's actually going to go for the Lorraine instead.
Oh yeah, he does have the Botha Shermans. Those things are lovely. They're great tanks. Just because they're Shermans, of course. I want to notice Ranger Marauder kind of behind enemy lines here, popping out these half tracks.
I just saw that, and I think he blew up one of them, but
yeah, he got run, but the Pioneer squad managed to jump out just in time.
Indeed.
And he blew his cover, but bit of destruction to the enemy at least, and now they're going to get mortared. Oh, look at smoke covering the retreat, but he's already in a forest, so I don't know.
Well, and that German attack we're talking about, well, that's completely stalled. Looks like that 232 is going to get picked on up. Yep, there that goes.
Yep, there it goes.
And actually, I think we're going to be starting to see some 76 mils coming in for the Americans as well. One coming up to the northern side. I think that's, yeah, it should be a 76 mil.
And one to the south too.
So Jabroni playing a very even game back and forth in terms of where he's adjusting his particular positions. Stevbosky, how do you feel about how he's been allocating his troops so far?
Bro, he's trying to do enough, bro. He's trying to defend enough north, so it's not looking grown out because of the Shermans. And it's funny, the 2nd Infantry Division is pretty much out-tanking the 21st Panzer. I mean, he has good unit presence all around, but because he lacks armor presence, so now he finally got a bloody Beuter Sherman. That's what's really been a pain in the butt, because those Shermans, those T-30s, have really been stopping him from making any major playthrough or breakthrough.
Now, I'm kind of wondering, this is it's not an M4A1, so not the amphib ones.
It's a, I think it may be an A2, A3 model, it was Beuter Shermans.
And that's exactly, you know, this I like about you. Maybe we're on the same wavelength. I was going to ask what model that would have been. I can't think of it for the life of me.
Yeah, but, the A1 has that, like, stupidly, like, curved hold because they made it out of cast instead of just strapping a bunch of plates on together. But yeah, that's like an A2 or A3.
And yes, there is finally going to be that P4 coming on in. Actually, the command one, so he's only got one of these. No, wait. No, he's got two. My apologies. He's got two.
Yep.
That was the H coming on in, but no.
It's the G, the Stalingrad model.
The one that's got pathetically low armor.
Yep, that's early model Panzer IVs for you.
God help me. I mean, it looks lovely.
It's got 2 stereo, and honestly, losing to armor for Panzer IV is really nothing, because 8 armor wasn't really much to begin with.
Well, that's good, because it's got 6 in this case.
Yeah, it's, you know. But his armor is what Stevbosky's need, so he just lost his Beuter Sherman to a 57 mil.
No, actually, that was a 76 right there.
Oh, it's a 76, my bad.
Oh, no. Not at all. I mean, yeah, that's an even more difficult position to actually get into now. Even worse is that the Pioneers can't even do anything about this DD tank either.
Yeah, I mean, he does have the Lorraine, so maybe he can pop an AT gun or two and just make it a bit more of an even fight. But the Americans just have good presence with these tanks, and the 2nd Infantry is definitely a defensive division with all the artillery pieces that they can get. And they pretty much set up good defensive positions all around. They haven't completely lost the southern sector. They've started to rotate north a bit now, getting into the enemy-occupied town, but not completely pushing the enemy out. And just a little bit of a skirmishes back and forth in this middle section.
Well, the Pioneer rush coming on through, and those Gebelterledungs are doing work. Man, they got 1 rifle squad already. Looks like they're going to take out the command rifle squad in a second. There that goes.
There we go.
Mini nukes galore. Ooh, wait a second. Okay, so the 35S is super close to this DD tank. If he sees this thing, I want to know whether or not this could actually be...
He can pen.
That's exactly it, yeah. If not him, the P-Grand squad's there too.
I think it's going to be the P-Grands you're going to get first here. Oh! Yeah, it's definitely going to be...
35S is aiming. Oh no, he's aiming at the truck. Never mind. Alright, that's much less interesting.
That's so dumb, moving up your Sherman like that. Especially when you know Ray has Pioneers on the opposite side of that forest.
Except right now, that DD tank... Oh no, the DD tank's going after the P-Grens! Bounces. Oh my god, no. Please, for the love of God, shoot it! Shoot it now! No! Wrong it!
God, okay, I want to do the math real fast, because it's... Okay, what's 7 plus 8? Yeah.
Oh, it's 15. It should have penned like every day of the week and twice on Saturday.
Yeah, bro, it would have been a good chance to pen, but RNG just was not happy. And Sherman, even though I will admit that was a really silly move for Sherman, very dangerous, it worked out in the end for him, and now he's reaping the benefits.
Well, the Germans seem to be finally stirred from their deep, deep sleep as the Broombar comes on in, ready to grumble and do some work here.
Oh, there we go.
But what I would really like to see is to see these Shermans getting picked up. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah. There's no Panzer Grenadier nearby to flank around in that Sherman DD. Too bad, it's Pioneer squad, yeah, not Panzer Grenadier squad. But it's, it's not looking good for the Germans.
As they keep dropping more and more half-tracks, just the anti-tank guns, they know where they are. It's actually really starting to make me a little frosty. Oh, wait, anyway. Sorry, continue.
Yes!
Jeez.
And the Germans have really lost a lot of map presence now, and thinking about it, they've lost quite a bit of infantry through this match, so they're probably going to be running a little bit on supply problems, especially now we are into sea phase. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a King Tiger be brought out, because that may be the saving grace for stevbosky. Though I don't really see it doing too much on this map.
That seems like a fair read. That seems like a fair read. Yeah. But we could see, I would say, maybe a bit of a push from Boyd to Sherman's calling. I mean, like you said, he's running low on infantry. He's calling it what looks like. Oh my God.
There goes the Brumper.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I begin to be more depressed as the flying circus gets blown to pieces one by one.
Second infantry, good defensive position, and especially this middle area of the map helps them a lot because those hedge lines and tree rows allows them to set up good ambush positions, as you can see where the AT guns can just go absolute ham. If the Germans could have broke through a center area, especially early on, where it gets a bit more open, yeah, probably would have benefited.
There's Gabby.
Oh, it's Gabby. What the hell?
That's not in the deck.
Oh, it is in the deck. It's a P40. I keep.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, it's a P47. Oh, yeah. See.
I always think it's actually going to be the legit name, though, too.
Yeah, in the replay viewer or deck viewer, it says it doesn't give you the actual unit name. That's because if you haven't got the pre-order bonus or whatever,
but I do.
Just use the regular one. Oh, you do, but for the replay thing.
Okay. I was gonna be like, what the heck?
Okay, that's Gabby. Okay, we can live happy now that Gabby's in the match, and we got a small bit of gaps.
Yeah, I'm waving my flag of support over here. You can tell by the enthusiasm in my voice how happy that I am that he's here.
But yeah, the Germans, I haven't actually seen the Germans bring out a single plane, unless I missed something.
You have not, but they don't have a whole lot. They have one ground attack fighter, and that's it.
Yep, and two Star Football, which is pretty sad for the 21st Panzer. But I don't know, it's just really not looking good for the Germans. They seem very spread out. The second infantry is really dug in, and they're dug in without doing any artillery spam, which is quite surprising, because second infantry, I'd say, is, it's the artillery spam deck. Never mind, it comes to xylophone.
I was just gonna make that comment. But Pioneers, shockingly enough, are still behind enemy lines over here, and they're holding tough against all these rifle leaders and other rifles.
Yeah, doing their darndest.
But they're out of grenades, which means that they're pretty much not long for this world, I would say.
Yeah.
But what's Jabroni doing? Well, Jabroni's making ground attack runs at, well, he's not making any of them anymore. Oh, no, never mind. There we go. So
yeah,
he's in the front lines.
I mean, might as well if you got complete air superiority.
Yeah. I mean, I guess air superiority is kind of a hazy concept there. Interestingly, I'm finally seeing any kind of munitions truck for the first time in the north. We've gone through 28 minutes, and we haven't seen barely any of them whatsoever.
It's quite surprising, because you've had those mortars going on for a long time.
Indeed.
Down south, we may see Sherman on Sherman action.
Ooh, that's right. Actually, I was focusing on the Panzer H to the north. That's the only one that's got one in the deck. But, actually, you know what? I can't help but wondering if maybe what the major issue for the German push is that when they went to the north, they got themselves hung up on that road instead of taking any sort of cross-country approach. Yeah,
exactly. They got choke pointed, and the Allies had a very good defensive position in that crossroad section array in the town.
It looks like that xylophone's going to make some sweet, sweet music, by the way. He's aiming for that Boyd to Sherman. Not going to do a lot of damage, but he's going to stress the Evelyn bejesus out of him.
Yeah, going to keep it off the field for a little bit, which is what I'm hoping he does, and...
Traitor.
Oh, barely! It's not going to be forced to fall back.
And that could be a tiny, tiny gasp of life for the Germans, but I don't know if that's really going to be enough.
Well, think about it. If you look at the American infantry down south, there's only one with AT weapons. So his Sherman can kind of... Well, two with AT weapons, my bad. But so he can have a pretty decent time if I mean, he does see a rifle leader moving up, and yeah, the Panzer gun.
Yeah, so he pins it down pretty darn quickly as well.
Yep. And now we got the Lorraine also hammering away, so maybe the Germans could take something down south. We do have the Greyhound being brought in, but I really do give it to the Sherman, they can't stand up the Greyhound with those 50 caliber machine guns.
Honestly, the day that M8 takes out the Sherman, the Boiter otherwise might be the day I just kind of uninstall this game. So at that point I know that the Germans have absolutely no chance anymore.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And really, yeah, it's definitely our attack up north really faltered, and that was the main player from the Germans who completely neglected the middle, and because of that he just lost good position, and since then he's pretty much been trying to fight back for the map. Yo, point rise, he doesn't have too much to catch up to. There's 12 minutes left, and it's looking pretty decent down south now, and in like the middle southern section. So maybe he can do a counterpush and try to gain back some ground. Because the Americans will also be kind of low on infantry at the moment. It's all A phase with their rifles. They only got 2 B phase infantry cards, one of them being rifle leaders. So.
And that's exactly what I was going to bring on up as well. Actually, we're going to see, it looks like some recons being brought on in by the Americans. I don't know why necessarily.
Probably out up north, or...
Oh no, actually I think it was a Jeep that... Well, now there's a Jeep going up to the north. But he's going to the center part of the map here. And the M20 command car is being brought on in, which basically, yeah, it does signal, I think, that the Americans are completely tapped.
Yeah, they're pretty much tapped. And rifles against Panzer Grenadiers, it's... Well, I think CQC rifles do win. But more open ground engagements, spoilers are... they're not really up to bar when it comes to machine gun purposes.
Boo!
That's pretty terrible.
And it looks like some of the last infantry coming in right now for the Germans. Martyr coming in as well. But I think that the important thing that just happened here is that the xylophone just plastered part of that German attack, but now he is Winchester on ammunition there.
And there's no supply truck nearby, and that's not going to be good. We've got an M7DD, Erigo being brought up, going to be trying to counter that center part. May not work too well, because the Panzer 4G can probably knock it out. But it's, see what happens.
Part of me was wondering, wait a second, does that have close firing actual AT rounds? But no, that's not going to be the case.
It's this big bada boom, it's 15 HE and 1.2 kilometer range.
And yes, I think Jabroni is completely out of any kind of leaders at this point, too. Yeah, actually, now I'm thinking about it, yeah, I think he's out of leaders. So his infantry is just going to get outnumbered and just crushed.
But he does have the air power, and P-38 Lightning and 47 Thunderbolt dropping in those bombs.
Ooh.
And, yeah, getting some good hits here.
Okay, I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can help explain this to me. Why we keep seeing more martyrs as opposed to actually seeing that Königstiger or really anything but the martyr?
I don't know.
Okay, good. I was worried it was just me for a second.
The martyr isn't really good in this map, especially in this area, because it can't take advantage of its 1.2 kilometer range. The only good thing about it, it's 100 points. It's cheaper than a Pack 40, and it's a Pack 40 on rails, on road tracks. That matter. I don't know. Honestly, he really should invest the points of his martyrs and just get more like Panzer 4s and Panzer 4Gs and stuff, because he really just needs fire support.
Heck, bring in another Lorraine. He's got more options for Lorraines.
Oh, Brumba would be lovely.
That's another great idea.
Armor.
Now, if we put next to a 76mm, that'd be great. Yeah. That seems to be where he has a bit of a problem, is finding out where those anti-tank guns are and not putting his guys right in the middle of their crosshairs.
Yeah, and that's the advantage for the Americans on this map, is a lot of good sneaky spots for AT guns. And not just because there's a lot, it is because of a lot of spots, but you don't know where they could be. It's very unpredictable where an AT gun could be, right? You know, and other maps can't. Where it's like, okay, AT gun's gonna probably be in that area roughly. Here, I don't know. It could be here, it could be it could be bloody anywhere.
Very, very true. Now it does look like that DD is getting close enough, and yep, there is both the 232 and the Panzer 4 putting rounds into it. It's a fuel explosion, but there. Wait, ooh, there's an M10 to the south.
Oh, yeah, there we go. A proper tank, or tank destroyer from the Americans, and he has pretty decent line of sight if he moves up a little bit. Unless he gets straight and run by a Focke-Wulf, okay.
I kind of feel like the Focke-Wulf might have been better served going after the xylophone. I mean, yes, the M10's very deadly there, but...
Can he see the xylophone?
I was thinking if he could see the M10, he should be able to see the xylophone, but no, he cannot. Jeez, there's been precious little recon being done by stevbosky during most of this.
Yeah, and he has a pretty decent amount of recon, a lot of stormtroopers and those Auxiliars on the field. One Focke-Wulf does go down up north, and just a little bit of an airball. No AA from either side, so... Yeah, holy crap, there hasn't been a single AA unit, Colin.
No, there was a flak 38 coming before, but they got taken out, I think, by mortar hits.
Okay,
and there goes the other Focke-Wulf, by the way.
Yeah, as all the superiority fighters there from stevbosky blown up.
And I think the 76 might go down. Okay, so there's actually going to be a big gap in the American lines here, but that Panzer IV isn't going to be impressing anybody. He's been bailed out for quite a bit of time.
That's not good. You know, the Germans do have that plus 1 point advantage. There's 7 minutes in the match, so it's really anyone gains game at this point. And looking at this middle area, we got an M20, a Jeep with a machine gun, and a 2-man recon squad. If that gets destroyed, that's going to be just a lot of ground covered. A lot of the map will be painted red. But there's nothing there from the Germans to really take advantage of it.
And again, I think the first M10 went down, but I think that's how the P4 got himself wounded.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand, really. Wait, the Germans bring... Is that honestly what... Yep. We're basically seeing a flak 36 come on out, and there's another flak piece coming up to the northern side. So for all of that air power, finally with 5 minutes left to go, is when the Germans decide, hey, maybe we should have some ground fire.
Yeah, and also I'm thinking they're just kind of running out of units. I'm really thinking at this point the Germans are probably completely skint in terms of infantry options. I mean, goddamn, he's charging a Lorraine into the front line here. You see him down south?
I do.
Well,
but 1,000 rounds of munitions, oh god.
Yeah, it's complete. He has a machine gun.
Well,
it's pretty much a half track.
Never mind.
And
I was just I'm saying, oh god, because of that 76 mil that's right there.
Yeah, I don't know where he did yet. I mean, he has supply trucks in his deck, but
that's why you have supply trucks, so they can go boom.
Yeah. And maybe the Americans can do something now in this middle section, because Germans completely out of steam in the mid. I mean, the M10 jets don't stop any further advances. So if stevbosky can just hold for at least 5 minutes, it's going to be a draw.
True. Oh, getting super lucky actually with that one. So the rifle leader was about to go down. Then a bombing run from that P-38, saving his life, saving the cheerleader, and saving the world. And dear God, that M10 tank destroyer is doing actually a fair bit of work. Takes out the final husk of that P4. Damages a 250 up to the north. The other 250 there. Not too much going on. And yep.
The Americans have a real good defensive section up north just because of that lone 76mm gun pretty much cutting off any further advantages. Unless it gets stunned by an AA gun, that's usually not good. But, yeah, in these last 5 minutes, I really doubt that the Germans can actually make a push, so it's just going to be about holding onto out like 1 to 2% of extra land in the hopes of a draw.
Well, at this point, that's the best they can hope for, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just buying AA units now, because he probably can't buy anything else. Just AA units. I mean, it's not a bad choice considering the end game, because he doesn't kill infantry with that, at least.
It's kind of amusing to me whenever you see a rifle squad force back that half-track. And even worse, when it takes out a half-track, that's just embarrassing. And Gabby's coming right back in. We're back to 50-50, so the Germans have to make a crazy push. Oh no. Oh god, the Allies can pull out a minor victory here.
Oh, that's they could have got that plus 1 point advantage, really capping that northern section just that little bit is giving them the advantage. And with that Sherman now moving up, that's going to be gaining a little bit of extra ground. And Yeah, Germans are just spent, man. Absolutely spent. They can maybe get more reinforcements in 36 seconds or so, but
I don't think it's going to happen. I think I
don't think it's going to happen either.
I think we're looking at a minor U.S. victory here.
Yeah.
So what's the takeaway from this particular match, though? I mean, we've kind of hit a couple of major issues back and forth with both players, but what was the major letdown for the Germans?
I think the major letdown was really committing up north in the early game, and they could not take advantage of it. And ever since then, they've just been trying to crawl back into the middle and crawl back down south. But because the Americans managed to set up a pretty decent defensive line, they stopped any German pushes from going too crazy and too deep into their sector. Because there are some moments in that match where the German could have made some good pushes and broke through, but there's a fly line which is a little bit too far.
Now, random side note, have you actually ever seen Francis Jabroni get shot down?
I was gonna say that comment too, because I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. In the replays that we casted, or heck, even the matches that I played myself, Gabby always lives.
That man does have a charmed life.
I guess it's because 2-star veterancy, number one, 700 kilometer speed, number two, and because he's Gabby, number three.
That's true. Any man named Jabroni deserves to live.
Yeah,
that is going to be a minor victory, by the way. So 880, 603. The KD is surprisingly hefty in terms of spread, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, especially seeing that the range is rushing through sidely at the end, I'm thinking stevbosky definitely will let go towards the end of that match. I mean, let's just look at the...
there's 176 mil, good God.
At the end. I mean, the Falkenraths too, those are pretty expensive. He took quite a lot of losses at the end of the match, yeah.
No real standout on his side of things. Going along hand in hand with Jabroni, have you ever seen Michael Wittmann actually survive to the end of the match? Because I know I haven't.
I haven't seen that either. I mean, this is just like real life. Gabby lives, Wittmann gets blown up to pieces.
True. Clearly, the safest place to be is in the air.
Exactly. I mean, you got so much...
Definitely sounds like it. So, wow. There's a lot of standouts here.
Yeah, I mean, the Sherman, the 76mm gun, the Sherman DD, the 57mm. I mean, there's a lot of targets for the Americans because you got a lot of those cheap 10-point half-tracks and a lot of those autocannon half-tracks. So, yeah, a lot of targets and just, jeez, so many dead Pioneer and Panzer Grenadier squads.
Oh, yeah. But oh well.
And this was the 21st Panzer match. No King Tiger, man. No King Tiger. I kind of understand why. I don't think it really would have been the saving grace in that match. It probably was better.
Well, definitely the way he spent it in there. If he had waited a little bit longer and thrown one of those in, I don't know, when C started perhaps, he might have been able to use that to force his way through.
I would disagree solely because of this map, because there's just so many ambush points, and it'd just be a very paranoid movement trying to keep that King Tiger up on the front line, because you never know when it's going to be a 76mm gun.
That's fair. Oh, that is totally fair. I think I would have gone hand in hand by also saying, though, too, that we didn't see necessarily a lot of recon being done by stevbosky. Jabroni, shockingly enough, yes, but not stevbosky.
Yeah, stevbosky definitely could, especially considering the AT gun threat on this map. You want to have recon just scouting everywhere, trying to spot those annoying 76mm guns all over the place. Because as we saw in that match, if you don't have that, you just kind of run into AT guns all over the place.
But that's going to about do it today, I think. Any other comments you want to make there, Ray?
No, that's good for me.
Alright, well in that case, guys, just to recap, Jabroni takes out stevbosky in a doozy of a match. And the 21st Panzer gets sent back into the east. I would say keep an eye out for some more material coming out for us, and actually keep an eye out for, on September 21st, the new expansion to drop. Was it Second Wave? Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, it's the Second Wave expansion DLC.
There's definitely going to be a stream for me, at least over on the Twitch channel. Hopefully, Ryan, you can join me for some time of that. But for the time being, at least for me, I hope you all have a great day. This has been Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy, jabronis.
Good night.